The courtroom was silent, the kind of silence that feels heavy, as if the walls themselves are waiting to hear the truth. In the front row sat a young woman in her late 20s, calm on the outside, trembling on the inside. Her name was Emily Carter, and today she was suing her own father. When the judge walked in, everyone stood. Cameras clicked. Reporters whispered. But Emily didn't move. Her eyes stayed locked on the man sitting across the room. Robert Carter, a powerful real estate tycoon, known for his charm and ruthless business sense. Her father, the man who had taught her how to ride a bike, the man who had once told her, "You can trust me, no matter what." Now, he wouldn't even look at her. "Your Honor," the lawyer began, "this is not a case about money. It's about truth. A daughter standing up for justice, even if it means standing against her own blood." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Robert's lawyer, a confident man in a navy blue suit, smirked. "Objection, Your Honor. Emotional manipulation." The judge raised his hand. "Overruled. Proceed." Emily's lawyer, Sarah Mitchell, turned toward the jury. 3 years ago, Emily's mother died in a car crash. Everyone believed it was an accident, but evidence suggests otherwise. It suggests it was planned. The jury leaned forward. Robert's face stayed blank, but his fingers gripped the edge of the table. Sarah continued. "Emily believes her father is responsible for her mother's death, not directly, but through deceit, fraud, and betrayal that led to her demise." Murmurs filled the room again. The judge banged his gavel. "Order in the court." A daughter's pain when it was Emily's turn to speak. She stood slowly. Her voice trembled at first. "I loved my father," she said softly. "I still do in a way, but love doesn't erase truth." She paused, looking at him, hoping he'd meet her eyes. He didn't. "My mother, Grace Carter, trusted him completely. She handled none of the business side of things. She believed in him. When she found out about his secret investments, his offshore accounts, and the forged documents with her signature, she confronted him." Emily's voice grew stronger. That night she left the house crying. Hours later her car went off the highway. Everyone called it an accident, but when I saw her phone records, I found a message she had sent just before she died. It said, "He's not who I thought he was." The courtroom went cold. Robert's lawyer jumped up. "Speculation, Your Honor, there's no proof." Sarah calmly replied, "We'll show proof." The hidden truth a projector flickered to life. On the screen appeared a bank statement, offshore transfers, multiple accounts under fake names. Sarah said these accounts were set up using Grace Carter's signature. But this forensic report confirms the signature was forged. The jury whispered among themselves. Robert leaned toward his lawyer and muttered something, his jaw tight. Emily saw it. She remembered that same expression when she was a child, the look he gave whenever he was caught lying. Sarah went on. "After Grace's death, Robert inherited everything, the company, the estate, the insurance money, all of it. Emily received nothing. But she didn't come for the money. She came for the truth." The defense attorney stood, pacing confidently. "Your Honor, this is a tragic family misunderstanding being turned into a circus. Mr. Carter is a respected businessman. There's no evidence he had anything to do with his wife's death." He smirked. "And if we're talking about character, maybe we should look at Emily's motives. She was cut off financially after she refused to work in her father's company. Maybe this is her revenge." The crowd murmured again. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Sarah stood tall. "We're not here to assassinate character. We're here to reveal facts, and the next witness will do just that." The witness, a middle-aged man, walked into the courtroom, nervous, avoiding eye contact. He wore a mechanic's uniform. "State your name for the record," Sarah said. "James Holloway." "Mr. Holloway, where were you employed in July 2022? "I worked for Carter Automotive, Mr. Robert Carter's private garage." "And what happened on the night of Grace Carter's accident?" James hesitated. The judge urged him, "Please answer the question." He swallowed hard. "Mr. Carter asked me to check the brakes on his wife's car that morning. But he told me not to fix them. Just inspect." The courtroom gasped. Emily's heart stopped. James continued, voice shaking. "When I checked, the brake fluid line was almost empty. I told him. He said he'd take care of it. That night, her car went off the road." Robert slammed his fist on the table. "Lies! You're lying!" The judge banged the gavel. "Mr. Carter, control yourself." James looked down, trembling. "I didn't come forward before because he paid me. He paid me to stay quiet." The silence that followed was unbearable. The defense attorney approached James. "So, you're admitting to taking money for silence? Doesn't that make you an unreliable witness?" James hesitated. "Yes, but not anymore. I have a daughter of my own now. I couldn't live with it." Sarah watched as the jury's expressions shifted. The tension in the room was electric. The defense tried to recover. You have no proof of these claims. No receipts. No messages. James reached into his pocket. Actually, I kept this. He handed a crumpled receipt to the bailiff. Cash withdrawal, Sarah read aloud. Made by Robert Carter, same day Grace Carter died. Robert looked pale. The emotional twist after a short recess. The judge called the court back into session. Robert was visibly shaken. Emily sat still, tears streaming down her cheeks. She wasn't angry anymore, just heartbroken. Then came the moment no one expected. Robert stood up suddenly. Enough. I can't keep pretending. His lawyer tried to stop him, but he pushed the papers aside. I didn't kill her. I swear I didn't, but yes, she found out about the accounts. The forged signatures. The lies. She was leaving me. She said she'd expose everything. And I panicked. His voice cracked. I followed her that night. I tried to stop her, but she drove off. I didn't touch the brakes. I didn't mean for her to die. The courtroom fell silent. Emily's lips trembled. You followed her? He nodded, tears falling. I loved her. I just didn't want her to ruin everything I built. The judge looked down. Shaking his head, Mr. Carter, the judge said quietly, you've just admitted to obstruction of justice, forgery, and fraud. Robert sank into his chair, defeated. The verdict days later, the jury reached a verdict. On the charges of fraud and obstruction, the foreman read, we find the defendant, Robert Carter, guilty. Emily closed her eyes. It wasn't victory. It was relief mixed with grief. Robert looked at her for the first time in years. Emily, I'm sorry. She nodded but said nothing. As he was led away in handcuffs, the courtroom buzzed with whispers. Reporters rushed out to file their stories, but Emily stayed seated. Her lawyer touched her shoulder. You did it, Emily whispered. I didn't want to win. I just wanted the truth. Weeks later, Emily visited her mother's grave. The wind was cold, and autumn leaves covered the ground. She placed a single white flower on the tombstone. I did it, Mom, she whispered. I told them the truth. I hope you can rest now. She stood there for a long time, thinking about everything that had happened, about justice, about truth, about how the people we love the most can sometimes hurt us the deepest. Her lawyer's words echoed in her mind. Justice isn't always fair, but it's the only thing that keeps us human. Emily took a deep breath, wiped her tears, and walked away. As she reached her car, she noticed an envelope tucked under the windshield wiper. No name, no stamp, just one line on the front, for Emily. Inside was a USB drive. She frowned, slid it into her laptop, and pressed play. It was a video. Security footage from the night of the crash. The timestamp matched. The car's headlights flickered. Then, another vehicle appeared behind her mother's car. It wasn't Robert's car. It was someone else's. Emily's eyes widened. The clip ended abruptly. But one thing was clear. The person driving the second car was still out there. The truth wasn't over, even in the search for justice. Sometimes the truth hides behind another truth, and sometimes the real killer is still in the room.